Hello, lads and lasses. Hey, if you like today's lesson, then please become an airport security guard and plant narcotics in travelers' bags. Then, when they say that it isn't theirs, tell them you won't let them go until they sign up for art classes, as this would really help spread the good word. All right, this is a demo for Art 3. So this is going to be part of our candy project. So I have in the last video, I photographed and edited the candy sculpture, and what I've done is I printed the black and white one. So I'm going to draw it out. So on this big piece of, let's focus first. On this big piece of watercolor paper, I have drawn a border. So, and I've drawn real lightly, so it's not going to show up really well in the video, but just trust me when I believe that it's there. So, because I edited this to be a square, I'm going to make a square painting. So, I've done an inch border. So it's 12 inches, and when I do an inch border, that makes my image 10 inches. And let's see if I can get a little bit farther back. And that left me a lot of room over here. All of this right here is just empty paper. So I did not cut off my border. I left this for empty paper, and I'll show you what to do with this in just a little while. All right, now some people like to use a grid to draw their picture, and I'm going to show you how to copy this picture without a grid. So I'm gonna start with kind of what grabs my attention, and I'm gonna say that this candy right here in the lower left hand corner, I'm gonna start drawing that first. So if I get like a kind of a midpoint, I'm not gonna measure, but like so that is about the same size. So that's at the midpoint, and so I think that this right here, where the candy comes in, is a little bit above the halfway point between the middle and the bottom. So if I find that halfway point, I'm just guessing, I'm not going to measure. And the point is, the reason why I don't measure and use grids is that kind of takes the life out of the artwork. You know, it takes the spontaneity out of it. So, especially things like candy. Now, if we were doing somebody's face and I wanted it to look exactly like that person's face, then yes, I might use a grid or another method like that. But because candy, it's okay to be a little bit wrong because it can be a different shape. All right, so if that's the middle of my square and I want it just above the middle between here and the bottom, so I'm going to draw this shape right here. Okay, let me move this over so I can. All right, I'm going to draw this shape right here, like that. And then coming out from about right here, I have this shape, whatever this is. So I'm going to draw it here. And I'm drawing lightly, so you may not even be seeing these things on the paper. But if I zoom way in, all right, you can see my border and you can see the lines that I'm making right here. All right, so let me zoom back out so we can. All right, now where this line kind of comes right here, that's where this lifesaver comes in. And if I do like an approximate middle right here and imagine a line down the middle, that lifesaver actually kind of touches that center axis. So if I have an imaginary line down the middle, and once again, I'm not going to measure, right? That takes the spontaneity out of it. So then, and that kind of goes around. All right, so that is going to be my lifesaver. And I can't tell yet. I'll have to look at another picture to see if that goes up that way. And then kind of at the height of that, there's this shape up here. All right, so I have these three basic shapes drawn out. And then this candy right here goes above, and it kind of comes out of that shape right there. And then this candy, if I have that imaginary line down, it kind of kisses that that center line. So it comes out of here, and it kind of goes in, and then it kind of goes down like this. And then there's a candy corn coming out of the Lifesaver, and it comes this way, and it bends this way, and then it goes into that one. And then right there is a line. And then just past the candy corn's tip is this candy right here. And then right just after the intersection between the Lifesaver and the candy corn, there's kind of this curve right here. And then I see a candy corn back there. And then there's one more, and then one more. And that's it, right? I have sketched out my drawing. Now, okay, so the next step is I've drawn all of this with pencil. And the reason why I drew it with pencil first is so that if I make mistakes, I can erase. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over these lines with a colored pencil, because I'm pretty satisfied as to where they are. So I'm going to go get a colored pencil. I'll be right back. All right, so my candy sculpture was all warm colors, and so it's going to be a warm colored painting. And so what I'm going to do then is use a warm color to outline the stuff. So, and I'm going to also and I've got here a kneaded eraser, and I'm just going to dab that kneaded eraser on my drawing. And what I'm doing is I'm just picking up the extra graphite that my pencil left behind. So now my lines, those light lines that I drew, are even lighter. And they're probably, it's probably not showing up at all on the video, but they're still there. So, and the reason I'm doing this is so that when I begin painting, that I don't have ugly gray lines showing up in between colors. All right, I want this to be a bright, colorful picture, and one color that is not bright and colorful is gray. So I'm taking out all the gray. And what I see, I can just barely make out the lines that I drew, just barely. These are ghosts of lines. And I'm going to retrace them now in red. And the reason why I'm doing red, so that when the line does show up, you know, the lines are going to show up no matter what you do. But when the line shows up, it's going to show up as a bright, vibrant color. All right, so now you can probably see all the lines that I made. All right, so what I'm going to do in that background is I'm going to do a dark purple, because most of my picture is warm colors. I'm going to do a cool color for the background to help make the warm colors look brighter. So I put black and I put purple on my palette, and I'm going to mix the two. So I've got some water. I'm getting the extra water off the brush, and I'm going to put a bunch of purple in the middle. And you know what I'm teaching you guys right now, this is Art 1 stuff, you know, how to mix colors. But you might need a refresher, I don't know. But when you're mixing two colors, and you have one that's darker and one that's lighter, so of these two, the purple is the lighter color. So I put purple in the middle, and I'm just going to add just a little bit of black to it, and that should give me a dark purple. And then I can test myself. See, this is why I had you guys leave that extra space on the side. I can see what it's going to look like. That gives me like a dark grape color. Yep, and that's another reason why we do borders. That mistake right there landed on a border and not my picture, so I'm not used to talking. All right, so I'm going to paint this background purple. And I'm painting it, it seems that I'm painting it kind of thinly, so we'll fix that in a minute. All right. So I like the color, but I don't like how it was applied. All right, it's just the first layer. So now, and if we zoom way in, I wonder if we can see. Let's try to. That terrible line. All right, so you can see all my little brush strokes, and I kind of wanted it to be darker than that. Like, look at how dark the photo is. You know, that's pure black. All right, and I wanted to have that kind of that darkness, but I wanted to have a color. So, you know, I'm going with the purple, but I'm going to add some black up here in the corner. So I've just taken black, straight black, and I'm painting over the purple. I'm going to add some of that purple in there. I'm getting a much better color right now. This is what I was looking for. So that's the thing about Art 3 is if this was an Art 1 project, we would have just left it on that first layer and moved on. But these guys, you guys, I want you to edit and correct. And so I'm putting purple on top of that black. And it's getting me that dark color that I wanted. Now I'm going to do black over here. That was just too light a purple. Even though purple is one of the darkest colors, it was applied thinly, and I could see through it. I'm adding the purple and black that I mixed on top of it. So it's going to have like a very black feel to it, but if you would look closely, it'll be like a really dark purple. All right, so I'm adding black. This is just pure black right here. And then I'm putting purple next to it. There we go, purple. All right, and the other thing that I want to tell you guys about tempera paint is that it gets wet again. So don't labor too long on, here's purple. Don't labor too long. Don't keep brushing and brushing and brushing over the same area. Right. That's going to get the previous layer wet again, and it might even start rubbing the paper. So what I've done is I've painted this section of my picture, and I've done it with like black and purple together. And I'm going to let this dry and see what I get from that. I may have to do some more modifications a little bit later. And what I'm doing right now is I'm kind of evening out like paint strokes. And then we'll see what happens tomorrow. So I'm going to finish for right now, and then we'll pick this up later.
All right, that's it for today. And until next time, be a little art factory.